Okay, today we're looking at linear equations. I can graph, write, and interpret linear functions by using tables and intercepts. So these are our standards. So we're going to start here. It says graph negative 2x minus 3 equals y by making a table. So we had been graphing by using Desmos, and we will still do that, but we need to know that we put an input in for x and we get an output out for y. So what I do is I'm going to take, and our x values can be any value, but they happen to give us the values here. So I am just going to take this x out and put the negative 4 in. So I'm going to do that over here on the right. So I have negative 2 times negative 4 minus 3 equals y. So I'm going to use order of operations. So that's 8 minus 3 equals y. And 5 equals y. And then I just fill in my table. So I would put right here what I would do. I solved it. I got 5 for y. And then remember, my coordinates are in the form xy, negative 4, 5. So then I graph. I go left and right first. So I go left 4, up 5. So the next one, I'm going to do negative 2 times negative 2, because that's what I'm plugging in, minus 3. That's 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So my coordinate is negative 2, 1. So I go left 2, up 1. Put a dot. Do the exact same thing with the 0. So my answer is negative 3. So I have 0, negative 3. 0, negative 3 is down there. Do it for 1. So I have negative 2, 1, minus 3. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So I have 1, negative 5. So that's right there. And then I'll do it for 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 minus 3. That's positive 3, I'm sorry. So that's negative 6. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. So we have 3, negative 9. That's going to be way down there. Then I'm just going to draw my line through it. Ooh. And I've graphed the equation. So this one says graph by finding the intercepts. So the intercepts, we need to know this. So the y-intercept, if I'm looking at the y-intercept, to find the y-intercept, I plug zero in for x. So I would go negative 0 plus 2y equals 8. Well, we know there's not a negative 0, so I would just divide by 2. Divide by 2, so y equals 4. So now I'm just going to go to where y equals 4, put a dot. X-intercept, I plug 0 in for y. So I have negative, I have to erase some. Sorry. So I would have negative x, messing up all over the place, I apologize. plus 2 times 0 equals 8. Well, that gives me negative x equals 8. Multiply by a negative 1 to get rid of the negative. And x equals negative 8. So I go on the x to where x equals negative 8. Now I have 2 points. I only need 2 points to graph a linear function. So then I can just draw my line through those 2 points. So let's try that again. So we're going to find our y-intercept. So I'm going to go 2 times 0 minus 5y equals 30. 2 times 0 is 0, so that's just a negative. 5y equals 30. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. And y equals negative 6. So I go to the y, go down to negative 6, and I put my point. And we're going to do our x-intercept, so we're just going to plug 0 in for y. So I have 2x minus 5 times 0 equals 30. That leaves me with 2x equals 30, and divide by 2, x equals 15. So that's actually going to be way out here. It's kind of off our graph. But then I can just draw the line through there. So this is kind of what we just talked about. For the y-intercept, we plug 0 in for x and solve for y. For the x-intercept, we plug 0 in for y and solve for x. So one more. We're going to go 5 times 0 plus 3y equals 15. This is going to cross out, divide by 3, and y equals 5. So I go to 5. I put my dot. Then I'm going to have 5x plus 3 times 0 equals 15. I divide by 5, so 3 equals x. So I go to 3. Then I draw a line through my 2 points. So slope-intercept form. This is important. I'm sure you've seen it before. So y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept and m is the slope. So we're going to work on making equations in that form. So write an equation in slope-intercept form for the slope is 3 and the y-intercept is 5. So let's get our equation up here. So I'm just going to take that 3 or the m out and put the 3 in. You're always going to keep the x. And my y-intercept is 5. Slope-intercept form. That's your equation. Try again. So y equals mx plus b. So y is going to equal, slope is 2, so I have 2x. Y-intercept is negative 5, so I'd have minus 5. Write an equation from word problem. So this is important. Make sure to write it down. Y-intercept is the starting point of the scenario. The slope is the rate of change. So how much it goes up, down, up by, or down by. So let's do a couple examples. A lake near the Arctic Circle is covered by a 2-meter thick sheet of ice during the cold winter months. When spring arrives, the warm air gradually melts the ice, causing a thickness to decrease at a constant rate. After 3 weeks, the sheet is only 1.25 meters thick. Let S represent the sheet of ice thickness in meters after T weeks. So first things first, this is a little bit more difficult. We start with 2, right? And how much do we go down by? So it says for 3 weeks. I need to know per week. So I'm going to take 2 and subtract the 1.25. And that equals 0.75. And then I'm going to divide by 3 to see per week. So every week it melts 0.25. So that's my rate of change. So when I write the equation, remember my B is my starting point, or my y-intercept is my starting point. So I started at 2 meters. So I'm gonna have this 2 over here because we're gonna do it in the form. And then my slope is my rate of change. So I have 0.25, and that's per week. And it's negative 0.25 because it's going down. So with this, all I have to do is pull out the important information, where I start, what I'm going down by, and then I put it in there. So Jackie knits 6 meters of scarf each night. So this is your rate of change. So 6 per night. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the X nights and the length of Y. So per night, it says is X. So that's going to be 6X. And the length, so that's going to equal Y. If she had started at a point, then it would start with Y.